Have you ever been in a conversation where someone said something and you had no idea how to respond? Maybe you nodded awkwardly, or you said something like, "Yes, I agree," but it felt stiff or unnatural. Sound familiar? Well, don't worry, you're not the only one. Here's the thing, agreeing and disagreeing in English isn't just about the words. It's about how you say them. It's about making the conversation flow and showing your personality. And when you know how to do it well, you'll feel more confident, more fluent, and people will enjoy talking with you. Hi, I'm Abu, and I've been teaching English for over 11 years. I've helped students from all around the world, students just like you. And one thing I know for sure is that learning how to agree and disagree naturally makes a big difference in your English skills. So today, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Oh, and before we get started, I've got a little gift for you. I'm offering a free 2-week mini course on phrasal verbs and idioms. It's packed with PDFs, audio files, and stories to help you sound more natural in English. Just comment "free course" below and I'll send you the link. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Seriously, hit that button. Okay, ready? Let's dive in. Now, let's talk about agreeing. You probably already know how to say "I agree." And yeah, that works, but it's kind of boring, isn't it? Imagine someone says, "I think learning English is really important," and you just say, "I agree." It's like saying, "I'm here, but I don't have much to add." So let's make it better. Here's a great word to use. Totally. Can you say that with me? Totally. Now, totally is a casual, enthusiastic way to agree, and it makes you sound much more natural. For example, "That movie was amazing." Totally, the acting was incredible. See how much energy totally adds to the conversation. Let's practice. Say it again. Totally. Got it? Good. Now, another great word is exactly. Say it with me. Exactly. This one is perfect when you completely agree with someone. For example, learning English opens so many doors. Exactly. It's such an important skill. Exactly shows that you're on the same page. Let's say it together one more time. Exactly. Okay, let's take it up a notch. If you want to agree with extra emphasis, you can say, "I couldn't agree more." Go ahead, try it. I couldn't agree more. This phrase is like saying, "I agree with every single word you just said." For example, hard work always pays off. I couldn't agree more. It's the key to success. Doesn't that sound natural and confident? Say it with me again. I couldn't agree more. Here's another good one. You're absolutely right. Well, let's say it together. You're absolutely right. This phrase is a bit more formal and works really well in professional conversations. For example, speaking English gives you so many opportunities. You're absolutely right. It's the global language of business. See how polite and professional that sounds? One more time. You're absolutely right. Now, here's a trick. If you want to keep the conversation going, agree and add your own thoughts. For example, social media can be so distracting. Oh, totally. And it's even worse when you're trying to study or work. Notice how I didn't just agree. I built on the idea. This makes the conversation more interesting. All right, we've covered some great ways to agree, but we're just getting started. Stick with me because up next, we're going to dive into disagreeing politely and confidently. And trust me, you don't want to miss this part. But before we move on, if you're finding this helpful so far, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more lessons like this. And don't forget about that free mini course. Just comment free course below and I'll send you the link. All right, let's keep going. Now that we've covered agreeing, let's switch gears and talk about disagreeing. Disagreeing in English can feel a bit tricky, right? You don't want to offend anyone, but at the same time, you want to express your opinion. So how do you do it without sounding rude or making things awkward? Don't worry, I've got you covered. The first thing to remember is that tone is everything. Even if you're saying, I don't agree, you can make it sound polite with your tone. Let me show you how. Instead of just saying, I don't agree, try, I'm not so sure about that. Can you say that with me? I'm not so sure about that. This phrase is softer and more conversational, which makes it less confrontational. For example, I think studying grammar is the best way to learn English. I'm not so sure about that. I think practicing speaking is just as important. See how it opens up the conversation instead of shutting it down? Say it with me one more time. I'm not so sure about that. Now here's another polite way to disagree. I see your point, but. Let's say it together. I see your point, but. This is great because it shows that you're listening to the other person before sharing your own opinion. For example, I think English spelling is easy. I see your point, but I think the silent letters make it really confusing. Notice how I see your point softens the disagreement. Let's practice it again. I see your point, but. Okay, what if you strongly disagree? You don't want to be rude, but you still want to make your opinion clear. In that case, you can say, I have to disagree with you on that. Try it. I have to disagree with you on that. This phrase is polite but firm. For example, I don't think English learners need to practice pronunciation. I have to disagree with you on that. Pronunciation is really important for clear communication. Let's repeat that together. I have to disagree with you on that. Here's a fun one. Not necessarily. Say it with me. Not necessarily. This is great when you want to challenge an idea without being too direct. For example, you need to study for hours every day to improve your English. Not necessarily. Even 15 minutes a day can make a big difference. Not necessarily is short, simple, and perfect for keeping the conversation friendly. Let's say it one more time. Not necessarily. And sometimes you can even disagree by asking a question. For example, watching movies isn't helpful for learning English. Really? Don't you think it's great for improving listening skills? See how asking a question makes the disagreement feel more like a discussion? It's a great way to keep things positive. Now, here's the thing. Disagreeing doesn't mean arguing. It's about sharing your perspective while still respecting the other person's opinion. And when you can do that, people will respect you too. Let's quickly recap some of the phrases we've learned. For agreeing, we practiced totally, exactly, I couldn't agree more. You're absolutely right. And for disagreeing, we used I'm not so sure about that. I see your point, but I have to disagree with you on that. Not necessarily. Now it's your turn. Practice these phrases out loud. Say them in different tones. Formal, casual, enthusiastic, so you're ready to use them in any situation. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. I've got tons of lessons coming your way to help you improve your English step by step. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.